Welcome back to the part 2 of This Hits Different with Natalie Dragt. You guys, the first episode was going so good, and we were getting into some really good topics that I was like, oh, this is going to keep going. So instead of doing a 2-hour episode, I'm breaking this up, and I'm sitting here with Natalie. We are going to get into the nitty-gritty of how to become a content creator and make a living out of it. So we are back again with Natalie Dragt.
Thank you guys for tuning in for part 2. You guys have been listening to my voice for a while now. So have you, Riley. So thanks for not getting sick of me. I appreciate it. So I'm so excited.
Let's pick up right where we left off.
What do you want to know? Do you want me to kind of start from beginning as to how I did it?
Yeah, tell me how you did it first.
Yeah. Okay. So what ended up happening was very, very similar to that of dang near everybody who has found, posting on TikTok is like a bit of a sanctuary and a safe space for them. I got made fun of horribly, like terribly, guys. Like it was brutal. In high school, I was just very much made fun of for it quite a bit, like very similar to that of, I think, a lot of people. I think that's a very common theme.
Yeah.
And I really struggled with it. And it was always the guy that was like, well, my cousin blew up and like, you're only at 6,000 followers. I'm like, who cares? I don't care. Like, I genuinely don't care. This is a creative outlet for me.
I'm having fun. This is a creative outlet. And I don't know if you were at the time, but you're like, and I'm making money. Like, what are you doing?
Now looking back, I am really proud of myself for persevering. At that point, I was 16. But I was competing in pageants quite a bit. That would have been like my second year of actually competing. And every year I was wearing a Sherry Hill dress. Love, love, love Sherry Hill. And I was very, very fortunate to be asked to model for Sherry Hill, which was such a cool experience. Like playing dress up. Are you kidding me? Like that's a cool job.
And gowns too, and like prom dresses.
Exactly. So if you actually scroll all the way back down to my TikTok, I believe the very first video is of me at Sherry Hill headquarters with 2 other incredible women doing a dance. Like it's hilarious. So that's why I downloaded TikTok, was because Sherry Hill was like, hey, we're doing a content shoot. Learn these dances, download TikTok, and come prepared on whatever day that was. So that's...
And they put that on their account. But did they require you to put it on yours too?
No, I was sitting at 0. Like I had no followers. Yeah. So for me, that was kind of like a light switch of, okay, a brand like Sherry Hill's really caring about their social media to the point where they're facilitating an entire day to shoot content.
Was it one of the videos where they're like doing a TikTok dance and then it changes dresses?
No, that was like way more advanced. That was like more,
because I do remember seeing that with Sherry Hill specifically. So I was like, I wonder if that was you.
No. Well, I did a few of those. So maybe is the answer. But this one was like a shoulder shrug thing. There was like 3 of us in a row. It was like a brunette, a blonde, and then I was the redhead. And it was just hilarious. I loved it. So it was so much fun. And that's why I downloaded TikTok in the first place. And I started posting those videos. Now, we had like an entire content shoot day. At that time, like nobody was doing content shoot days, like 2020. I'm like, no, that wasn't happening. So this was before lockdown. And so I started posting those videos that I got from that content shoot day, and kind of like repurposing them onto my account. And I got some followers that way. And, from competing in pageants, I ended up very fortunately getting signed to a modeling agency in New York. And so I got a lot of content by come with me to New York. Like I am 16 years old. I just got signed to a modeling agency. Like, let's do this. I might've been 17 at the time. Yeah. So sharing the behind the scenes of that is something that a lot of people really love to see. And for me, it was just like, I really didn't have that many friends in high school. So if I can connect with people online, that's a really great spot for me. Yeah. And I was able to do that, which very, very fortunately was able to do that. All of a sudden, lockdown happened and I was having the best time. Look, I know like lockdown was very challenging for a lot of people. And I happened to be in a unique position where I was not having a good time in high school. Like I was very much different in the sense that I wasn't doing the sports anymore, which was really big, where I went to school, was getting bullied quite a bit for doing the modeling, doing the pageants. That was not something that people did from the town that I was from.
It's so funny too, that like, that's something that people bully you for. Cause it's like, you think you would be the cool girl in school because you know, obviously you're stunning, beautiful, gorgeous,
thank
tall,
you.
modeling, flying around the country doing that.
Thank you.
It's out of jealousy. It really is.
I think so. And it's like kids will be kids. And so for me, it was just like I kind of left that behind when I was like 15 and I just outgrew that. And that's okay. You're allowed to outgrow environments and circumstances, and that's okay. So for me, I was like, all right, we're gonna dive into this thing. And that's really when I was like, I don't care anymore. Like, I'm going to be posting. People are going to either like it or hate it. My stuff got shared like crazy throughout my high school, and it's fine. But it got shared more by other people.
That's
And that's what matters. In 2020 was just very fortunate to be isolated to the farm that I was like living on. I say farm like loosely. Everybody grew up like pretty much on acreage in the area that I was at. So I think we were on like 10 acres, but it was desert, like it's middle of nowhere, guys. So when 2020 hit, I was living my best life. I got pet ducks, like I was just hanging out with our mini donkeys, like it was incredible. And that's when I got my first brand deal, and it was such a terrible brand deal looking back, but it's like,
really,
oh my gosh, it was like post 10 videos to your page, and we'll pay you $500. You don't know, like you're starting.
You don't know, and when someone's like, "Oh, well," it's like, "Oh my god, finally, I can make money from this."
I know.
It's so exciting. I understand, but
I was excited. Like my mom and dad were excited. Like they were getting into it. They were like, "Oh my gosh, like that's so cool." So
I know Instagram paid me like $200 once for like posting X amount of reels, and I was like, "Oh my god, I've made it as a content creator."
It's like a reward. But that was my very first like real brand deal. Obviously, working with Sherry Hill, that was really cool, and working with a company called Terry Costa out of Dallas, which is one of the main carriers of Sherry Hill. I made quite a bit of content with them, and it was mostly for them. So this was the first time that I was like actually getting paid to put things onto my account. And at that time I only had like, I think 40,000 followers, which if you remember correctly, like 2019, 2020, you could gain followers really fast.
Insanely fast.
It was just different.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Now it's more challenging.
Myself. I wish I knew I wish I was podcasting at that time. Yeah. That was when I was like, I'm done with music. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. I was not on social media. Oh my God, I was like one of those annoying people that was like, I'm on TikTok, but I don't post. Yeah. And then, but like looking back at it, I'm like, God, if only I knew where I was going at that time. Like I could have just, biggest regret, because growing following now is so hard compared to how it was in 2020, because the platform was just growing so rapidly. Yep. And it will also, consumer behavior has gotten very different. So like, don't kick yourself. And I'm talking to you, and I'm also like talking to everybody else that's trying to grow a following too. Don't kick yourself if you're like, dang it, I've been posting consistently for a month and I haven't gotten to where I want to be. It's more challenging now. It is fundamentally more saturated. There's a lot more content. It's hard. It's not something that's super easy. Now, obviously you can get lucky and you can create a piece that goes viral, and that helps. Yeah. But still, like if I were to have gotten 5 million views back then, I'd get 100,000 followers. But then now if you're getting like several million views, you're going to get like 200. No, literally.
It's just different.
It is different.
I also just think that consistency is such a big piece of this. And like consistency, like 3 to 4 times a day type of deal. And now there's like a lot of different strategies that you can do.
Do you still think that the 3 to 4 times a day is effective?
Great question.
Because that was a big thing like a few years ago, because it was more about like quantity. Yep. But I've heard it's a little bit more about quality now, but then I've started to hear rumors of us going back to quantity. What are your thoughts?
It's a mix of both, and here's what I mean by that. I'm not trying to be cryptic by any means, because I don't want to be one of those people that's like, I'm gonna gatekeep. No,
gonna gatekeep and go buy my course.
No, so here's what I mean by that. I think if you're gonna post, let's do 4 videos, right? If you're gonna post 4 lesser quality, just kind of their videos, then you need to be posting more of them. Mm-hmm. However, if you've got like a knockdown, drag out, incredible piece of content and you post that, then I think that you're good at once a day. And what I mean by that is like, if we look at some creators, they're creating like these masterpieces of art. Like I don't even want to call it makeup anymore. It's like, it's art that they're doing on their face, right? Yeah. if they create that, they are creating like this high quality type of content, and it is typically to a trending audio. It's high quality, it's not pixelated, and it's new, and it's something that people haven't seen. So if you're going to be creating something like that that is so unique, so high quality, so incredible, then it's almost impossible to create 4 to 5 pieces of that type of content a day. So I would say if you're going to prioritize quality, get really good at quality and try to post once a day minimum.
Yeah.
But if you're like creating content that's maybe not the highest quality, then you need to be posting more. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by both.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
Because I like my social medias, and I'm just gonna say that because I don't have anyone else's to reference. But my social medias, it's like I post a mix of high quality, but I really do try to let personality come through because that's what people connect with. So I'll post clips of the podcast and things like that, but then I like to do the street interviews and you can get like real-time reactions, real-time jokes that I'm making. And then I do like in front of the camera, get ready with me's, come with me to go do this makeup or, you know, whatever it is. It's kind of like all over the place, but I don't know. I feel like I don't really have a niche because I do so much creatively, but also I'm like, I don't know if that's like helping or hindering me.
Great question. I think lifestyle is potentially too broad of a niche, if that makes sense. It depends on like what your goal is. Like I'm a huge proponent of backwards planning, and it's what I use to be able to set goals accordingly. So let's say you have a financial goal, or let's say that you have more of a personal goal, a relationship goal, whatever that goal looks like. You set the goal and then you work backwards by setting stepping stones from there.
Yeah.
So, you know, if your goal is to have a creative outlet and to be consistent with your creative outlet because, hey, it's good for your mental health and it's good for your soul, then great. Like keep pushing out what you want to push out and keep going with that.
Okay, guys, sorry about that. It's not really going to look like anything changed on y'all's end, but the camera died. So we had to like run and go get a charge it back up a little bit. But we were just talking about goal setting. So back to that.
Yeah, goal setting. I freaking love it. If you don't know what you're working towards, then you need to really figure it out. And I know that that's really challenging to sometimes hear of like, if you don't have goals, and how do you expect anybody to try and help you? And that is honestly one of our biggest hiring questions is, what's your goal? And I know that that sounds like such a stereotypical cookie cutter, but if you tell me what your goals are and I think I can help you, then I would end up hiring that person. But if somebody doesn't have goals or they don't know what they're working towards, it's really difficult to motivate them and it's really difficult to push them forward. So I use this technique and it's called backwards planning. And you set like this, everybody calls it like a BHAG. Do you know what that is?
A BHAG?
A BHAG.
No, I've never heard that term before.
It's a big, hairy, audacious goal.
Oh, okay. So like, okay.
Yeah.
So
So
like ultimate,
like the ultimate
out
thing.
there,
Yeah, exactly.
sky's the limit goal.
Yes.
Okay, I was actually going to ask if you go for sky's the limit or like if you're like,
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I've been told I'm delusional.
Oh.
And I think that's the best way to be.
No, be Delulu. But
Yeah. I think
be
it's
strategic in being Delulu.
correct. Like if you're going to be delusional and set delusional goals, figure out how you're going to actually get there.
Exactly.
And so set your big, hairy, audacious goal, and then you make stepping stones from there as to how you're actually going to be able to achieve that. If you were to, you know, be speaking to me 2 years ago when I had literally like was sitting at $0 in my bank account, I had to open a bank account. Like that's where we were starting at.
Yeah.
And I told you that my goal was to make $100,000 in 1 month. Like that's straight up delusional. Like that's straight up crazy.
Yeah. Be Delulu.
Yeah, be Delulu. But that was my goal. And I set stepping stones to get there and we achieved it. And that's really great. So it's like, if you set those goals for yourself, whether it is in your personal life, relationships, or maybe it's in your content, then make sure that like you can actually achieve it. Make sure that there are, and that's not what I mean by that is you don't have to be real of like, oh, maybe that's like unrealistic for myself, or, oh, I don't think I can achieve that. I don't think I can do it. What I mean is like, actually just do it. If you are able to do something consistently for a long enough time, it will happen. Like it just fundamentally will happen, and you just have to do the right things. So set the goals. Like,
set the goal. Be delusional. Take steps towards it. Buy the equipment that you need. Save up for it. Like everything that I've gotten has been like, I don't think I have ever had a Christmas where a Christmas or a birthday where I haven't been asking for things in regards to my business.
Yeah.
Like, as long as I can remember, it was always like I'd get stuff for music. And, you know, then one day it turned into the Roadcaster and then the camera.
Yep.
I just worked with what I had. When I first started the podcast, I didn't have a camera. I didn't have any of that stuff. I couldn't even record it all on my phone. But you know what I did?
It's too long. What did you do?
I go on Instagram or TikTok live and do video it via live and be on live shooting it and then download the video because that was the only way I could download it.
But it's because you wanted it enough.
Exactly.
And you've been
the
wanting
video quality was ass. But we did something at least.
You just start from somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think holding unrealistic expectations for yourself, or maybe I see a lot of people doing like paralysis by analysis type situations where it's like you overthink things and you just cannot get past that first step.
Starting it is the hardest thing.
Starting is really hard. I actually think continuing is the hardest thing. It's like I can go to the gym for a day, like that's easy. But then to continue showing up for myself every single day, I actually think that's the most challenging part. And consistency is what kills most ventures.
Yeah. It's so funny though that you said, cause I feel like for me, like starting it is hard.
Really?
When I get going, I'm good. And like when I get in my groove of the podcast and the release schedule and everything, I'm good.
You're chilling.
But like, for example, after I moved back, I was so like hustling, trying to find a job that the podcast did kind of fall on the wayside. And I think I went like 3 months without posting anything, which I normally I've never done. But that was like 2.5 years of me doing the show and I had never really taken a break. So I was like, I took a pause for 3 months and I was trying to get a job and I just was like not in a good place mentally where I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so lost. I can't find any artists. I have nothing to talk about. Like I kind of hit the creative wall essentially. And like I had to take that time and getting myself to like do the episode where I came back was so hard.
And it's something that's like draining on your brain.
Yes. And like I remember even when I started This Hits Different, I launched it so I had like started working on the concept and everything back in March and April of 2022. I didn't launch the first episode until September. But there was a lot that I had to do to prep for it. Yeah. But also I just didn't like getting it to start. But once I'm going, I'm good. Yeah. And once I get on the release schedule, but when I take a break, getting back into it is hard.
Really?
Yeah.
Super interesting. And maybe it's different like per person.
Yeah. But once I get in the groove, then I'm going and then I like fall in love with it. You know, it's a weird dynamic because and I'm sure you probably feel this way with your business. It's your child, it's your baby. Yeah. But also you need to have a healthy balance with it and you need to like step away and take care of yourself. Yep. And there are times, especially as a creative, I think you can't be creative 100% of the time. Like, and creativity really does sometimes just come in waves and like there's nothing really that you can do about it. Yep. And you know, in other industries like music, it's nice for them because they get a creative wave. Yep. They write, they produce, they do all the things and then they tour it and then they're done for a time. Yep. And the music just lives on. But in something like social media and podcasts where content will keep going, it'll always keep going and just it is the hustle. Yep. If you don't, it feels like if you pause and you take a break, then everyone forgets about you and like life just goes on, you know?
I agree. And there's a really big reason for that. And I've read a lot of books now. Every book kind of says something a little bit differently, but they all kind of came to the same conclusion that our brain, or even for creative people, our brain is optimized for 4 hours of creativity every single day. And for me, I was like having a challenging time when I was the copywriter, editor, brand strategist. Like at a point, you have to do that and like that you're crushing it, by the way. Like
I really feel like I am not. It was just so funny that you say that. Like I feel like I am a failure in all aspects right now.
Okay, hear me out though.
Like no, I'll be nice to myself.
Can I ease your brain like a little bit? I feel like a failure every single day. Fundamentally, I feel like a failure every single day.
Yeah, but you're making money from your thing. Like I'm not making anything.
But hear me out though.
We're trying though. Join the Patreon.
Join it. No, but hear me out. If you feel like you're failing every single day. And you're just like, there's always so much more that I could be doing. There's always so much more left on the table that I feel like I didn't achieve that day. It means you really care. It means that you're striving to get better every single day. Now, I'd be more concerned and worried about you if you were like, I am on top of the world right now. Like, I am crushing it. There's always room for improvement. I never thought I would be at the point to where I'm at right now. Like 2 years ago, me would have never thought that I would be where I'm at right now. And I still, even though if my 19-year-old self was like, dang, you're crushing it, Nat, like, good job. I'm sitting here like, I feel like I'm failing. Like, I feel like there's still so much to do every single day. I still have like an unhappy client almost daily. Like, it's just bound to happen. We work in a subjective business model. Like, everybody has a different opinion, and I feel like I'm failing daily, and it just shows that you really care about what you do and you're passionate about what you do. So if you feel like you're failing every single day, just understand that it is because you truly care about what you do. And I think that that's incredible, because some people don't care about what they do, and they don't have that passion for anything in their life. So maybe take it as like, pressure is a privilege. It really is.
It is. And I do feel that way. And I love getting in front of the camera, and I love creating content, and I love doing this. This is the stuff I love to do. Getting myself sometimes to sit down and edit, whew, it's hard. Did you get a prenup?
No, I didn't. I know. But I also had 0 assets. And the one asset that we have
is together.
And so that's already in paperwork.
Okay.
Yeah. And he actually came into the relationship with significantly more assets than I did.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah.
He should have done it. Prenup is non-negotiable for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And here's why. Podcast is an asset.
Yep.
This is mine.
Yeah.
And there's been so many instances, like with artists.
Yep.
I want to say maybe it's Jamie Johnson, but he went through a divorce, and his wife won all the rights to his music. So he can't even perform them anymore. Jeez. She makes all the royalties off of it, all the stuff. So, yeah. Podcast will be a non-negotiable for me. That's only because of this, though.
That's fair, though.
Actually, no. There's I listened to a few prenup episodes on podcasts and stuff, and I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyways. I had to study prenup law because I was the content creator for that business.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They crushed. They were getting organically. That was one of our clients that we did fully organic content with, and they were averaging 2 million views a week.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it was crazy. All on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild. But no, we didn't get one. And if I was older and I had more assets to my name, I think it's very smart. I really do. We were both just
your only asset is together.
Right, exactly. And we have business contracts that cover them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Otherwise, I do think it is a really intelligent investment, especially to second marriages. You're coming in with likely a house. You've got so many other things.
Yeah.
I think it's really smart.
Or if you have property. There was one though that I heard about where this prenup lawyer was talking about this case that she had where this marriage was to they were married, the woman had some assets.
Yeah.
And she had land in her family. And it was inherited to her. The husband had gotten to some financial turmoil, and so the banks were trying to come after her property as collateral.
Yeah.
Because they had a prenup in place, the banks and the guy
they can't come after it.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I was I don't have anything, so I don't know why I'm just in case, but I really do think I'll be a late bloomer when it comes to marriage and kids. I really want a life partner, and I would love to marry a guy who pushes me and can travel. That's my dream. It's travel with my man.
You're
and
gonna
just
marry an Australian. They travel like crazy.
Good. Good.
They are awesome.
I know. I'm let's just travel around the world and go do all these things. And I want someone who is, I don't know. I don't really mind if they're in my field or not, but I don't know. I just need someone that is as driven as I am.
Yeah.
Or maybe a cheerleader. Who knows? I'm kidding. I'm so ADD. It's actually horrible. I don't know.
We were going over, first we started with goals, then we talked about, so once you really set your goals, it depends on what your goals are, to be really candid. My goal was a financial one because I had this just goal since the time I was 17. I wanted to be financially independent. I have an incredible family that I'm so fortunate for. and they were very, very supportive of everything that I wanted to do. And just looking back makes me so grateful for them. And I'm still grateful for them. I get to go see them tomorrow. I'm excited. But I wanted to be financially independent because I wanted my own things. I wanted to travel. I wanted to live life on my own terms. That's what I wanted. Like, very simple, fundamentally, I wanted to live life on my own terms. And I felt like I couldn't do that if I wasn't making my own money. I almost felt guilty for spending my parents' money.
I hate spending other people's money.
Right. Like, I can't do it. No. So for me, my goal was financial. And I'm not ashamed to say that. Like, I had a financial goal. And I was in college majoring in digital media. And I really just had a tough time because I felt like I was learning more from the business than I was in my classes. And there's nothing wrong with that, but digital media is a field that moves and evolves so quickly that if you think
can't really
about
teach
it,
a class on it because as the class goes on, it's already changed.
Right. And that's like the biggest problem is I think with digital media, if you're trying to teach that as an actual course, you can't just think about it from like a college perspective. You have to create the course, set the modules, figure out the homework, submit it to the college to get approved, and then you teach on it. Like, at that point, that's got to be several months old, right? So I'm sitting here like, okay, this has got to be 3 to 6 months old type things. And I feel like I'm learning more from actually throwing myself like headfirst into this industry than I am from the classroom. And that's okay. I'm a very visual and hands-on learner. That's how I learn and do better. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm learning more this way, but I'm also having to pay like $10K a month to go to college. SMU is like a spendy school, and I was on scholarship. So like, that's crazy. So anyways, I was like, okay, I'm actually investing. I never stopped learning. I invested into other ways of learning. And what I mean by that is like buying from people where I want to be. And that is such a big thing is, at least for me, I like to learn from people who I would trade positions with in a heartbeat. I want to learn from people who are where I want to be in the future.
100%.
And you shouldn't
say that all the time.
Yeah, like you shouldn't be learning from people that you wouldn't want to trade spots with.
1000%. Like when people, I've talked about this multiple times on the podcast, when people who don't do podcasts, somebody that I wouldn't want to trade lives with will give me advice. I'm like, oh, this is what you should do. This is what you should blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
no, you have to be careful who you accept advice from.
And I understand too that it's like out of a place of love usually. Like people care, they get excited, they want to share. Yeah. You know, it's not, you know, but when my mom was like, you should do this or you need to do that or whatever it is, I'm like, I love you, Mom, but you don't know anything when it comes to this industry.
Yeah. And that's
she's a badass in her industry.
Yeah.
She's a real estate broker and she's a shark. She's so badass in that. She doesn't know anything about entertainment.
Sure.
Love you, Mom.
And that's okay. Like,
I love you, Steph. But
Steph, you're crushing it.
I'm not taking podcast advice from you. And I've told her this.
Yeah. No, and that's okay. Like, I think that you just need to be really diligent about who you accept advice from. So I invested every single dollar that I made back from, and we were very fortunate. We started our LLC a week later. We had our first client. It was from our own personal network. And every dollar that we made, I reinvested back into education. And so it's like, yes, I did leave college, but I wanted to continue learning. And I just didn't feel as though college was where I was going to learn the most in the shortest amount of time and in a quality setting as well. So I invested it back into essentially buying my way into rooms is like the best way I'd put it, even though it's like all via Zoom. So like I bought into the masterminds that way I could learn from the person that's claiming to make millions of dollars on their agency. Cause like, that's what I want to do. And that's what I did. And now obviously I think that there are much better people out there than others. There were some masterminds that I got way more value from than others. And that's okay. Like it's just a different learning style.
Yeah.
But what I realized.
How did you get yourself in front of them?
By buying like their masterclass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like we spent several $1,000s like on their masterclasses. Yeah. So that way I could learn from them. But the problem, and it's not necessarily a problem, but I wanted a community of agency owners. Like that's what I was really striving for. I wanted to find other people that were doing something similar to what we were doing, because the amount of like issues that you face as a business owner that some of my friends really just can't relate to, it's almost challenging to talk about what those issues look like. And sometimes it can be isolating as well. So I wanted to get into that community. it was all men. There was not a single woman. Like
In the agency world?
no, in this masterclass. And it's like all
As in
agency
social
owners.
media?
Yeah.
Social media agents.
Correct.
And agencies.
Correct.
And it's all men.
It was predominantly men.
It's so crazy to me. Like I don't understand because I just feel like I see women everywhere, but
It's very interesting. Like
that's insane.
yeah, I don't know. It was very interesting. So I really wanted to learn as much as I could. So obviously set the goal. How do we get there? I wanted to learn from people who are where I wanted to be. And that's, you can't do this alone. There are some things that you can do by yourself. Absolutely. Like learning, there's so much on the internet out there for free, but it's also so important to have a community, whether it's people rallying around you, telling you, hey, keep your head up, you can do this, or telling people, it's literally having somebody tell you it's all your fault. Like it's on you. Your success, your fault. Your failure, your fault. Like having somebody to motivate you, and I know that's like really harsh, is huge. And I honestly wanted to be able to have access to that. So being able to have that motivation outside of just James and myself was huge. And so we tried to find that in master classes. So, like I said, some were more valuable than others.
Yeah.
And then from there, it just like started executing. I am a firm believer that if you are beyond confident in what you launch, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, whatever it looks like, if you are so confident that this is the best thing to ever hit, God's green earth, then you've launched way too late. Fundamentally, you have launched way too late, because now you could have launched way sooner than that, probably gotten some very valuable feedback, learned more from it, and then continued to iterate and adjust. Our business model is so fundamentally different today than what it was where we started. And that's okay. Like it is good to grow and it's good to adjust. But if I would have waited 2 years to be able to have the business model where it's at today, I wouldn't have achieved anything, and I wouldn't have even made it halfway to the goals that I was wanting.
Yeah.
And there are people that are going to critique you on that. There are people that are going to say, this is terrible, or whatever that looks like. And there's going to be critiques, criticizers, but then you just have to, again, know who to take advice from. Because if you're going to take advice from somebody that is not where you want to be, then you're accepting the wrong advice.
Yeah.
So from there, we threw ourselves into this, and I started being the predominant creator. Like we were not placing creators. I was just the face of a lot of different brands and a lot of different industries.
Okay.
Real estate, prenups,
so are
it.
Are the brands finding you? Are you reaching out to them? How do you connect with brands?
Upwork. So when we first started, it was Upwork and Personal Network. And you might be sitting here like, okay, my personal network is not going to help me. Like it's minimal, right? I so disagree with you, because I would say, even if you have, let's say 300 followers, if you were to be on stage in front of 300 people, that's 300 people that are all following you, right? And all of them likely have friends. They likely have acquaintances. And so my biggest piece of advice is to reach out to the people that know you and that already follow you. Be like, hey, how are you doing? This is what I've got going on. This is my life update. And most of the time, people are going to be really excited for you because they're already following you. They're already supporting you in a way. And if you reach out to them and you're like, hey, this is my new venture. This is what I've got going on. Do you think that you could benefit from this, or somebody that you know could benefit from this? They'll connect you because they want to see you succeed. They're already following you. And that is like what we consider a warm lead, right? So if you reach out to those people, you're now able to kind of access their networks as well. And 300 people quickly becomes 600, 900, and you're able to access those different people's networks. So number one, personal network allows you to go a lot of different routes and places. Now, obviously don't slide into somebody's DMs that you haven't talked to in 4 years and said, hey, this is what I'm selling, buy it from me. Like that's not going to go well. Instead, like look at their social media pages. Be like, oh my gosh, congratulations on your engagement. That is huge. You just went to Paris? Wow. How was that? I was just there a few months ago, or I've always wanted to go there.
Yeah.
What was that like? Start a conversation with them. Be a human. We all know how to be human.
Connect. Exactly.
And then just from there, if it's natural, be like, yeah, at some point they're going to be like, what have you been up to? Then you go, well, this is what I've been up to. This is what I'm doing. This is what I've got up my sleeve.
Yeah.
I would say that there's likely more people that want to see you succeed than less, especially if they're following you. So reaching out to personal network is huge. That's how we got our very first client. From there, There's also a platform called Upwork. There's Fiverr. There's lots of different versions of
I think I signed up for Fiverr.
I didn't like Fiverr as much.
No, I didn't either.
No, it's not. I don't
So
know.
Upwork is another platform. Can you explain a little bit about Upwork, what it is, what they do?
Absolutely. So Upwork is a freelance platform. So it essentially allows you to be able to apply to anything that you want to. Obviously within whatever sector that you want to go into. For us, like I limited my search to anybody looking for social media management, content creation, UGC content, et cetera, et cetera. The biggest piece is being able to know how to sell yourself though on Upwork. I didn't understand sales. James understood sales. And so he was the one that was predominantly doing a lot of the outbound outreach. You have to understand businesses if you want to be taken seriously on there. So like understanding marketing and like kind of like we're all sitting here like kind of the bare necessities and that's okay. You just have to, you know, act like you're an expert. And, you know, if you're not confident in yourself, confidence gets you a very, very far away.
It does. So number one, fake it till you make it. People say it all the fucking time, but one day you'll be faking it till you make it. And one day you'll realize you're not faking it anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're like, oh, I actually like talking about yourself is hard.
Yeah.
Bragging on yourself can be hard unless you're a narcissist, I guess. But for me, I don't think I am. It is a hard thing.
It is hard.
It's really hard for me to talk about myself and my accomplishments and my achievements highly and like
and you have
say
a lot of them.
I deserve this. You know, it's hard. But then one day you're like, wait, you just fake it. Yeah. You walk into rooms, you pretend that you're more successful than you are.
Yeah.
Everybody else in that room is doing it too. I guarantee you that.
Oh yeah.
And then next thing you know, you just are.
Yeah.
And you just are confident. And then you're like, wait, where did this come from?
Yeah.
So faking it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it on Upwork. Like at some point, some of it's free. Like I believe, and I haven't been on Upwork for like the last year and a half. So forgive me, but this is how we started getting a lot of clients in the door was through Upwork.
So are you reaching out to them and saying, I see that you have this position available. Here's my company.
Yep.
Let me show you how we can help you.
Yep.
So when
I try to get people on a call.
Yeah.
So like, don't just try and pitch yourself via email. Don't try and pitch yourself via Instagram DM. I promise that brands like are getting it. Like they are filled. The inboxes are filled. They're tired of it at this point.
Yeah.
Get on a call with them.
Yeah.
That allows them to be able to know who you are, get to know you, understand
your
voice.
Personality.
Yeah, exactly. And our goal was to get people on the phone. Now, also.
So that's how you built the brand side of it.
Yeah, for a time being. So we went personal network, Upwork, and then at that point, we're not a funded company. Like we're not looking for funding. We wanted to bootstrap this entire thing. And so by that point, we had gotten enough funding to be able to, not funding, sorry. We had gotten enough money from working with people to be able to start running paid ads. And that's what we did. So now we run paid ads to be able to get clients in the door. And that's our client acquisition channel now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So real quick with Upwork, when you were applying to things, are you applying asking to be the face of the company or are you applying to run their accounts?
So that was my offer, right? And I think that there's a really big difference in between your offer and what people might be asking for. People are looking for experts. And if you come in being like, I can do everything, let's like be really for real. I know that my like biggest asset is not social media management. I don't like doing social media management, but I am really good at creating the content. I'm good at creating a large volume of content because I'm a very organized individual that knows how to do that.
Yeah.
So brands would be like, we want 15 pieces of UGC content. And I'd be like, hey, let's make it 30 and I will discount it. And let's do a 3-month contract. Let's do it. People saw like it worked.
It works.
Yeah, but you have to be confident, right? Like you have to have a legitimate reason as to why should they buy from you? Why not somebody else? Why should they do 30 videos instead of 15? Why should it be a longer term contract? Like you have to have those answers ready to go. And it needs to be unique to what you're doing and unique to your offer. And
so they would say like 15 videos for a month and you're like, let's make it 30 for 3 months.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Like 30 videos.
Dragging out that time.
30 videos per month. So 90 in total.
Okay.
Yeah. 30 videos per month. We'll do a 3-month contract. And that's, long-term contracts are the way to go.
Yeah.
Because
it keeps money coming in the door.
It keeps money coming in the door. But then also too with like UGC content, it is really, really frustrating to do like, let's say 5 videos, you have to get to know the brand. You've got to get to know what they're trying to do. Like, is it sales? Is it to grow organically? What are you doing? And you do all this in-depth research to be able to crush it on the UGC side for 5 videos, and then you never hear from them again. So it's like, okay, if I'm going to be doing this work, let me do it for you in a great way. I promise I'm going to be giving significantly more effort than what you're going to be hiring 3 different content creators to be able to do. Let me do it all.
Yeah.
I can do it. I can deliver for you. Let me get to know you as a company and let me perform. I can do this.
Yeah.
So long-term contracts was like the way to go. And
Yeah.
that is all going onto the brand's page. A lot of it was predominantly organic content, is what we did. So, you know, posting it on their TikTok page, their Instagram page, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what we did. And Upwork is great. It's a great place to be able to start, especially if you are working with minimal cash flow, minimal means. Like that, I'm telling you, we didn't even have a bank account when we started. Like,
Yeah.
we had to start at 0. So if you are like, okay, I'm not somebody that's going to be getting funding for a company, I would argue if you're a creator that is just trying to make this like a sustainable thing for yourself, you don't need funding for yourself. Like, you just need to go out and do it. You know how to create content. You just need to become more of a professional and understand the sales side.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you are doing sales and you're pitching yourself,
Yeah.
what would you say, and this is just some knowledge for people of like where to start.
Yeah.
I've heard people say rule of thumb is $1 per follower of what you ask for.
Like influencer rates.
How
Okay.
do you come up with numbers, maybe for yourself or for somebody else? But like, do you have a general outline of how you can teach someone what to ask for?
Yeah, really great question. As far as influencer deals, I don't do them. I don't do influencer deals. I also like don't think of myself as an influencer. Like,
Yeah.
let's be really for real. Who like I want to be able to leave an impact on people. I don't consider myself an influencer.
Yeah.
Just straight up. As far as like what you just said of like $1 a follower, please, for the love, do not do that. Don't do that. Like, brands are getting smarter. They know that following count is not as important as engagement rate. They want to see that you're engaged with your audience, because it doesn't matter. Let's say you've got 50,000 followers on Instagram. You post a story, your audience isn't engaged. Nobody clicks on the link that the brand paid you to be able to do. That's wasted money for the brand. But if you have 5,000 followers, all 5,000 of them are super loyal to you, and the brand pays you, you post that link on your Instagram story, and every single person, or at least like a good amount, taps on that link, that's really beneficial to the brand. So following counts don't matter as much. Now, if this was 2020, I wouldn't be telling you that. But following counts don't matter as much.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
My engagement is so high. My following is not.
That's what brands value.
Yeah.
So you're chilling on that side. As far as like the face of the brand type of content goes, it depends on what you're offering. If you have, and it depends on who your audience is as well. If your target audience is like a mom and pop store that is super cute, local to San Angelo, Texas, and you just love them because you love them, which there are several stores that I love just because I love, I know that I can't charge them a very high amount because they're a smaller company. They're a smaller store. Their budget for advertising significantly lower. Whereas if I go for like a bigger tech company, then I know that they've got bigger budget because they're likely funded, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. Not saying that for every single one,
Yeah.
but you have to know what audience you're going after. Who do you resonate with the most? You know, do you think that you can connect with their audience? And then you can price yourself from there. However, I've seen some crazy things as far as UGC creators pricing themselves just at an exorbitant amount. Now, I encourage people to like go after it. If you think that you can charge that much, and if you think that you can prove your worth on that as well, and not even prove your worth, you're not having to prove yourself, but deliver value for that price point, fantastic. Like, absolutely incredible. But I've also seen some creators that have really kind of like tarnished the creative economy, and we are creators, so like we have an impact on this economy. So, you know, if you're a creator and you're like, hey, I'm going to charge $7,500 for one video as a UGC piece of content, so it's just going to the brand's page. Typically the brand is giving a script. Sometimes you likely have to do the editing. It's a 45-second video, and hey, I'm also going to charge usage rights, so I'm going to nickel and dime you on that. the reason that UGC creators do that is because they don't know sometimes when that next like revenue is going to come in the door. So like, at least that's what I've seen. If you're a UGC creator, like please forgive me, but that's just what I've seen. They don't know when that next opportunity is going to come in, and it's really kind of scary, right? Like you're creative, you're kind of freelancing it out there and you're trying to figure it out. Some creators have really knocked it out of the park and gotten their client acquisition down really, really well by running ads and by doing the full thing because they understand the game. They understand marketing really well. Other creators, they're trying to, you know, feed themselves. They're trying to pay for their rent. They're trying to buy groceries. My groceries alone are like $200 a week. Like I get it. I understand. But you also have to be really realistic and think about, okay, maybe if I charged them, let's say $4,000 a month for a higher volume of videos, I didn't try and nickel and dime them. So that way they didn't feel as though they were being maybe like nickel and dimed. Then maybe I could get them on a longer term contract. And then at that point, maybe I can have like a reoccurring $4,000 coming in every single month for 30 pieces of content that I can then deliver. And then at that point, you're sitting there 12 months down the line and you've made $48,000 from one brand. That's one client. I was working at 12, like at my peak. Like you can't, I don't recommend that. That leads to burnout. But you can work with more than one as long as they're not competitors, because then that gets a bit confusing.
Then it gets murky.
Yeah, work in different sectors, obviously. But that's just with one company. And then all of a sudden it becomes really, really achievable for you to be living the life that you want to live, financially free on your own terms. Like it is not easy. Like I don't want to say that it's super easy. There's going to be problems that pop up, and I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that all you have to do is like get up in the morning and like film your morning routine. Like that's not going to happen. Like I just want to be straight up. It requires effort and it requires work, but if you're persistent with it, you're consistent, showing up every single day for yourself, for the brand, like it's not out of the realm of possibility that you could very quickly be making a very sustainable income for yourself. Does that make sense?
No, makes 100%. Like, thank you so much for sharing all of that. Like, no, I feel like people don't talk about it, and it's very vague and hard to understand. So I really appreciate you coming on my show and you know, explaining that in an easier way. Tell me, let's talk a little bit about We Speak Socials. And, you know, talk more about it a little bit before we wrap up. Because I want to make sure that we really do your promo and like tell us all about it.
Thank you. I like, best place to start is we just like have an incredible team. It is so cool to be able to watch our team growing and to see them just like crushing it every single day. It's really amazing because everybody has the same goal. And the goal of our company is to be able to help as many content creators as possible. Like that's cool. That's awesome. That gets me up in the morning. Like I am going to be jumping out of my bed. That's why I sit down at my office desk every single morning at 8 a.m. Like that's why I do the things that I do every single day, is to help as many creators as possible, because nothing is more upsetting than not being able to work in the field that you're passionate and that you love. And if you can't do that on every single day, it's disheartening. Like it's heartbreaking. If you can't do that every single day, then you're holding yourself back, and feeling unfulfilled is the worst feeling. So we want to help creators as much as we possibly can. So we built this creator club at the start of August, and it was so cool because it's what I've always wanted to do. So we built this creator club. It's 100% free for anybody to join and be a part of. Like there's no gotcha moment. Like I'm not going to charge you to get on like our strategy calls. Like I'm not going to charge you to unlock a module. Like it's 100% free. And it is just filled with creators. There's a few that are in the UK, some that are in Europe, a few Australians as well, but mostly US, Canadian-based content creators, North America typically. And they're all doing something different. Like there's some creators that are really in-depth, like sports creators. There's some that are like broadcast journalists. There's some that are predominantly copywriters, and they're just there because they want to learn. Like it is the content creator, like creator club.
And it's a place where people can connect.
Yep.
Not only like networking and stuff, but also figure out ways that you could collaborate,
Yep.
support one another.
You and I are collaborating
Yeah.
through Creator Club. Like,
Yeah.
Riley joined, and thank you for joining, by the way.
Of course.
Because that support is everything. So,
No, well,
yeah.
I'm glad that you found me, and thank you.
Oh, of course. And it's
Glad
meant
that I have high SEO.
it's meant to be a spot where people can connect,
Yeah.
and like a spot where people can go and do things like this. And it is just fantastic. So every single Tuesday we have a strategy call, and it's literally where our team, so we have one copywriter that comes on, myself and James, and also one of our incredible sales reps and head of creator success. Like, our team is there so that way people can jump on and ask questions for free. Like, jump on and get your questions answered. Like,
That is so incredible. I didn't know
thank
that you
you.
did that.
Yeah,
The
every
strategy
Tuesday,
calls.
5 to 6 Central Standard Time. We jump on there every single Tuesday. It's 100% free. And that is us. Like, it's a full community of people. We want it to be fun. We want it to be interactive, and it is built for creators. And it was built because of creators.
Yeah.
So that's what we built in August. Now, we do have other cool things coming up as well. And we're so excited that we are going to finally be launching our We Speak Socials Creator Academy. And the Academy is meant to be able to be this place for creators to get all the answers, to be able to get the workbooks. Like,
Yes.
I'm not going to.
What she just gave right now was like the Sparks Notes version of what is in that academy.
It is the Spark
So-
Notes. Yeah. No, it's there's definitely a lot, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's easy. Like, everybody can do it. If you're not motivated, if you're not serious about this, and yeah, like, it's probably not for you. And
Yeah.
that's completely fine. But if you're like, yeah, I want to be financially independent, I want to be stable, I want these things in my life, and I want to do it through something I'm passionate about, then it's absolutely for you. And we've broken it down essentially into 3 different areas of the course. And it's building your offer, learning how to sell as a content creator, and then it's more of the operations behind being a copywriter, or not copywriter, content creator.
Content creator.
You have to learn how to be able to write copy. You have to learn the editing side. So that's what we've got going down here starting on January 1. We've got a pre-sale going on right now, which is really exciting. So yeah, if you buy in between now and January 1st, then it comes with a free New Year primer. So that way you can get your mental where it needs to be for 2025 and absolutely crush it as a content creator, because it's as much of a mental game as it is anything else. So yeah, that's what we've got coming up. I'm so excited, and it's just going to allow us to be able to touch that many more lives, and I can't wait.
Yeah, and I think too, what's really incredible, and I think it's very obvious from this episode recording, guys, she knows what the fuck she's talking about. Like, listen to her. Like, you're so educated on all this
Thank
stuff,
you.
and it's really helpful and inspiring to me, and hopefully everybody listening who wants to do this stuff and just doesn't know where to start.
Yeah.
And having someone who is legit, who is doing it, who has been doing it, be like, I am offering an academy. And it's not an ebook. It is a true training, like, school program, essentially.
It's what I wish my college program would have been.
Exactly.
Just straight
And
up.
it also, I'm assuming it's probably going to have to grow and develop and change within, as the industry does. It's not going to be what it is right now. It's not going to, might not even be the same course within a year. Who knows what that's going to look like? Because, you know, as you were saying, it changes so much. And by the time you're in a college course going through this, you know, so that's the next phase of We Speak Socials.
It is.
That is so exciting.
Thank
That's
you.
rolling out on January 1st.
It is.
So everybody, if you're listening to this and you're a creator and you want to be a creator, or, you know, you don't know where to start with her.
Join Creator Club. It's
First,
free. That resource is readily available. Like,
Join Creator Club just as like a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Get your feet wet if you want to see what it's about. I joined it, and I haven't even really gotten to like fully check it out. I kind of like skimmed through everything, but I made my little intro, and it's just going to be a great community for people to connect.
It is.
So, and ask questions, lean on each other, get on those calls.
Yep.
Like, these are incredible free resources. So if you want to be not an influencer, I hate that word too. So I don't even know why it just like came out of my mouth. But if you want to be a content creator and you want to get into this kind of stuff, like, Natalie is an
Thank you.
amazing resource. We Speak Socials is an incredible resource,
you.
and it's a great place to start.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I really hope to have as many people in there as possible.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, if I prefer 18 plus, like that, there's
Yeah.
nothing crazy in there, but it is
No.
a lot of work-based things. And we're just so excited.
Think of it as like going to college,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah.
for social media.
And it's just an ever-changing industry. And I am a firm believer that creators isolate themselves. Like, you're creating content kind of by yourself most of the time.
Yeah.
And we don't have an office to go to. Like, treat this as your digital office. Like, there are so many tips and tricks that you can pick up from other people who are doing something really cool, and vice versa. Like, I'm sure that you and everybody here has tips and tricks to be able to share. Like, literally just your camera and your setup here. I'm like, this is so cool. Like, she's a professional.
Oh my God.
So
I am literally
there's just
not.
so
Thank
much
you.
to share with others. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't look at it like as a, competitively. I look at it as how can we lift each other up as an entire community. So,
Yeah.
and that's free. Like, it's readily available.
It's literally free.
I really want to leave with the statement, and this is I wouldn't say super bold, but it is somewhat bold, probably a little somewhat controversial as well. But the second I was told this, it just really empowered me. And I want to leave people with this, and you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it, and that's okay. Everything is your fault. In your professional career, everything is your fault. And let me explain. What I mean when I say everything is your fault is your failure, it's on you. Like, just fundamentally.
Yeah.
It is on you. Your success, all your fault. Is that not like wildly exciting that your success is in your hands and that you can make things happen? You have the power to move the needle forward. Like,
Yes.
that's on you. And you can do that. And it's nobody else's fault that you're succeeding. It's not, it's yours. And I just felt really, really empowered to like go do the damn thing.
Yeah.
When I realized that all of that is in my control. So just wanted to leave with that.
I love that.
I really encourage people to like take responsibility for what you're doing in your professional career, because I've never had a real 9-to-5 job ever. I don't want one. I don't want to do that for myself. And I want to inspire others that if you're not happy where you're at, like, go do what you're passionate about. Like, we've got one life, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to go by really quickly.
You can live with regret.
Live with
or you can
regret.
live with rejection.
Exactly.
I would take rejection 100 times over. Like, I'm more afraid of regret than I am rejection.
Yep.
In the sense that, and that's the thing that changed my life.
Yep.
I would rather have a million thousand no's. I would rather get rejected left and right and know that I tried.
Yep.
Rather than look back and say, oh, I wish I did that thing.
Yep. I don't ever want to feel that way, personally.
Same.
And I try to live my life in a way that is not going to leave me feeling that way. And
Yeah.
I am very fortunate to be able to work with a lot of really just incredible people and like get to meet amazing individuals like yourself, where it's like, this is a fulfilling life. Is there days where it's really fucking difficult? Yeah. Like, it's not easy. Life is going to be challenging. There's not a single person out there that can be like, my life has been sunshine and rainbows 365 for my entire life. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
And I think how you rebound after that is really going to define who you are as a person and who you are as a entrepreneur, as a creator as well. So the more of a community that you can have boosting you up and pushing you forward, I think fundamentally the better. So yeah, I really encourage everybody to take a good hard look at themselves and realize that it's in your hands. You can do this. Like,
Yeah.
No goal is too big for anybody. Like, you can go after it. So yeah, that's my closing, I guess, statement.
Oh my goodness. Well, Natalie, once again, thank you so much for coming on This Hits Different. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and, connecting with me. And I'm so glad that we did this.
Me too. Like, thank you so much. I'm honored to be here, and thanks for spending your entire day with me. Like, it's
oh
been
my God.
amazing.
Thank you for sending it. You're a busy girl. This is my entire day.
Oh, thank
so
you.
I really do appreciate it. Once again, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah.
Plug all your things.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at NATALIE DRAGT. My last name is weird. It's D as in David, RAGT. It's an odd one. Drag T. Anyway. And then you can join Creator Club at the link in my bio for free, or WSScreatorclub.com. And we hope to have as many incredible people there as possible.
Amazing. And as always, you know where you can find me at Hosted by Riley Nelson on everything, at This Hits Different podcast. And I'm going to be really annoying about this. There are two versions. There's a $4.99 paid subscription. It's less than a coffee, and you get an entire month. You get extra content, bonus episodes, access to exclusive group chats. But if that is too much of a commitment for you right now, go ahead and just join the free version and get a sense and check out what it's about. But yeah, alrighty, you guys. Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you so much, Riley. It was so amazing to get to know you better here. Oh, so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.